Now, I have two favorite top tier vehicles, the Leopard A1A1 and the STRV-103C, or the so-called cheese wedge tank. Now, in the last big update, we have received the AMX platoon, and honestly this vehicle does kind of resemble the Leopard, although obviously it isn't the Leopard, but when you do play the vehicle, it does feel very close to the Leopard A1A1. It has some advantages, and at the same time it also has some disadvantages that I'll be covering today. Now, I'll start with the Leopard. So this is the good old Leopard that we all know and love, and there's nothing much to say about the stats of this thing. I mean, it is very maneuverable, it has a fantastic main gun, fantastic ammo, and overall it is generally accepted to be one of the best vehicles in high tier and one of the best vehicles in general. Now, the AMX on the other hand is a rank 15 vehicle, a high rank, but you will meet, these tanks meet quite often in combat, so you will definitely meet the Leopard and the AMX in the same game at one point. Now this thing has a much better reverse speed and does have much better protection, although one big, I would say, disadvantage on the AMX 30B2 is the fact that it doesn't have a stabilizer, which means that, you know, you can't really have a stable gun and stable aim while moving. The Leopard has the stabilizer, and it's very easy to use that thing while it's moving, and it's got the nickname point and click tank. Can't really do that with this vehicle, since, I mean, you can, but the accuracy will be kind of off. Although you do get explosive reactive armor, and I believe you also do get a better main gun, although the average penetration is about the same on both vehicles. So let's see how these monsters perform in combat. And I'll start with the AMX, since I really want to show how much the stabilizer helps in combat, and it does help a lot when you want to do snapshots, since you can easily just move up and down and shoot while the aim will basically point where you want it to point. And with this vehicle I can't really do that as effectively as you can on the Leopard. The one thing that I love about this vehicle is its speed. When it comes to maneuverability, I believe that this vehicle definitely does win when it comes to speed against the Leopard. It is a much faster vehicle, much more maneuverable. And speaking of the Leopards, as a Leopard 1, the tier 6 one, also a very good vehicle. Now when it comes to machine guns, this thing does have a very good machine gun, and overall does penetrate lightly armored vehicles very well. It has APFSDS, HE, and it has HE ATFS. Now the APFSDS ammo, as I like to call it, the magic dart, is awesome. I mean, it is the ammo of choice in high tier. And when it comes to protection, APFSDS will go through quite easily, but HE, HIT, HASH shells, and ATGMs will not struggle, but you have the explosive armor, and that explosive armor will defend your tank very effectively against those type of weapons. It's not going to protect you against AP shells, but you do have some decent protection against ATGMs, heat shells, HEATFS shells, and similar. Which, I mean, it's better than nothing, I guess. Although, if you do know how to use ATGMs, then the explosive armor isn't really going to be a big problem. If you shoot right between the hull and turret, it kills the tank even if it has the explosive armor. So yeah, that's one little trick that you can use if you are facing against this vehicle in combat. Just shoot it below the turret and hull, that's where you kill it. Even if it has the explosive armor, it doesn't have that right in that spot, so it's still kind of very easy to kill it. But it does have some good protection against that, and in some cases it can be a game changer. Although in high tier only ATGMs might be the problematic weapon type. Everything else is, I mean, I say problematic. APFSDS is probably the only problematic shell that can easily just go through this vehicle, while other shells, you know, if it hits the explosive armor, it will probably absorb it. No, the vehicle's survivability is not bad. I mean, it has no armor, and in high tier armor has obviously, I mean, it's not armor thickness on this vehicle is not good, but at the same time it doesn't matter. Even if it had like 500mm of armor, it would be penetrated. So yeah, the armor is very similar to how the Leopard does work and feel. So if you have been driving the Leopard vehicles, then this is going to feel about the same. And I mean, honestly, this vehicle almost looks like the Leopard, so it's not much of a difference really. And this is where I started to think about the stabilization. I mean, it's technically a more advanced vehicle, right? It's a rank above the Leopard, but it does miss some features that you get on the Leopard. Now, I don't know if this vehicle in real life doesn't have the stabilizer, or if it doesn't have it because, you know, balancing reasons, but I find it funny that a lower tier vehicle has more features than a higher tier vehicle, which, you know, is, when you think about it, quite funny. Although it does have a lot of other features that the Leopard doesn't have. I mean, extra protection is nice, extra speed maneuverability. The survivability is about the same. I mean, maybe you get also a better shell. I mean, this APFSDS dart is really good. Magic darts. That's how I like to call the APFSDS shells. And the stabilizer problem is kind of fixed with the higher tier vehicle, with the next vehicle in the platoon. And that's one example of the reactive armor protecting the vehicle. I got hit by a missile, but it didn't do any damage. Although the blocks have been lost, and you can actually see the missing blocks on that little tank window above the joystick. You can actually see where the blocks are positioned and where they used to be. Oh look, a bomb. Well, it's not going to protect against bombs, that's for sure. Bombs will kill you, so just keep on driving when a bomb drops next to you. Although I'm personally pretty happy with this vehicle, I can get this thing to work. Now, it doesn't have a autoloader, which is okay, I guess, not a big deal. And the Leopard also doesn't have an autoloader. They load at the same speed. I actually thought that this does have an autoloader based on how the shells are positioned, but it doesn't. The shells are positioned at the back of the turret. So yeah, it doesn't have an autoloader, but it does reload fairly fast. And that was the first match with this thing. Now let's go to the Leopard and let's see how that thing will work. Now, the Leopard, I mean, this thing is, it used to be my least favorite vehicle, but that was a skill issue on my end. And once I actually got good with the vehicle, with the game, I started to really enjoy the Leopard. I still do drive it. I mean, it's one of my favorite medium tanks in the game, and I absolutely love to drive this thing. It's so fun to use. It's a vehicle that kind of changed my view on a lot of things, especially after you get used to having no armor. It's honestly no big deal. This is the definition of a glass cannon. no armor, but fantastic gun performance. And I mean, just look, this is why the stabilizer is so good. I can just move, aim, and shoot at the same time. You can't really do that with the AMX. Oh look, a object. That thing has a huge gun, and that's a nasty gun as well. That's another Leopard. I missed the ammo, but someone else got the kill. And when it comes to peek and fire type of gameplay, the Leopard is unbeatable. Definitely, when it comes to peek and fire, the Leopard is outplaying and outperforming the AMX because it doesn't have the gun stabilized, while this thing has the gun stabilized, and it's absolutely no issue to just peek and shoot. With the AMX you have to wait a second or two for the aim to, stabilize, or should I say, for the gun to stop moving. With this vehicle you don't have that problem. Makes me wonder if the Leopard should be a rank 15 vehicle. Is the Leopard overpowered? That's a good question. It has a fantastic gun, fantastic ammo, everything about this vehicle except the armor is really good. Although, yeah, I know the reverse isn't as good as on the AMX, but honestly, 65 km per hour reverse, not really sure if there would be not really sure if there will be a situation where that will be useful. I mean, 30 km per hour is already pretty good with this thing, so I have absolutely no complaints about the reverse speed of the Leopard. It gets the job done, and it's fairly fast, faster than most vehicles, so I guess in that aspect, while the AMX is definitely faster in reverse, it is kind of a pointless stat in one aspect, because there's no need to go that fast in reverse. 30 km per hour will get you out of trouble easily, and you also get the smoke screen, which is also important in some cases, except when when you see the smoke being spammed. That's not a good thing. Usually a sign that the match will not end well. And when I say not end well, usually a sign that the match will be a failure, and it does happen often actually. When I see players spam smoke, I know that it's gonna be a fail very quickly. So, that was a very surprising multi-kill there. I still didn't believe that I actually pulled that off. My bomber got crippled, it was still flying. And I did take advantage of that huge plane to just drop bombs and missiles on the enemy, and I actually did manage to kill like 4 tanks. It was pretty good. So, main differences between the vehicles. Definitely that stabilizer that makes a huge difference. And I mentioned that the stab like a million times by now, but it's honestly a thing that I feel like the AMX is missing. It does feel like it's missing the stabilizer, because it makes shooting so much easier, and I find it really funny that the Leopard has it but that thing doesn't. I know the other MX 3120 does have it, but that thing also has a horrible default shell. It has classic heat, which is horrible. I mean, it's horrible, but useful I guess. Usable, not useful, usable. Magic Dart APF SDS is just unmatched when it comes to gunplay and performance. So, I mean, you can unlock APF SDS, but you have to grind, and you will be doing the grind with the AMX 30B2, since it has APF SDS almost by unlocking level 5. So yeah, the first couple of levels are definitely painful, but honestly pretty good vehicle. And if you have been using the Leopard before, then the MX will feel natural in most cases, except when you want to shoot on the move. That's where the difference is going to be quite noticeable and quite big, since this thing is stabilized. And which one of these vehicles is the better vehicle? That's a very tricky question. You know, in all honesty, in 100% honesty, I'm personally leaning towards the Leopard just because armor isn't that important. Height, I mean, yes, sure, the explosive armor is useful against 80 gems. That's a fact. The AMX definitely has the edge over the Leopard when it comes to protection. Even though if you get shot by APFS, yes, that's going to go through anyway. But if you get shot by the other HE-ATFS, heat shells or AT gems, then you will have a good chance to survive the initial impact. Meanwhile, the Leopard can survive, but in most cases it will just wreck it. At the other hand, the Leopard has the... well, I don't know if I can call it the better gun, since I believe the AMX has better penetration, but the stabilizer on the Leopard is just unmatched, and it just makes aiming on the move and playing aggressively or playing the vehicle in a more playful way. It makes the Leopard just unmatched. So if I have to make a conclusion, well, the AMX has a good gun and has better protection than the Leopard. The Leopard has the better gunplay and better overall gun performance, but it has less protection, and I believe that's kind of the fair thing to both vehicles. Both vehicles are very good, and I'm definitely having a lot of fun with the AMX, and I'll definitely be playing it a lot more. But with that being said, tell me in the comments what you think about the AMX, about the new platoon, and well, tell me which one of the vehicles is your favorite vehicle in the game. I'm very curious about that as well. So with that being said, stay safe. As always, I'll see you next time.